You know, when you come out from the womb, I have no idea who you are, but I instantly love you. My name is Von Dam. I'm from Saigon, Vietnam.
My name is Sophie. I'm 13 years old. My dad has diabetes, and we're here to talk about it.
How old were you when you came over?
10.
10.
Yes.
Okay.
So I remember the war and then really the transition afterwards.
Mm-hmm. What was that like for you?
As the war was getting to finality, I remember a bus coming in because refugees were flowing in and my dad was on it. When he got off the bus and he told my mom what happened, he used a Vietnamese word that, you know, in my 10-year-old mind and vocabulary, it wasn't used much, if any at all. And it's a very heavy word.
Wait, a curse word or like a depressed word?
No, it's a word that basically, a direct translation would be shame. Well, I don't feel that the shame of losing a country and my shame of having disease has equal weight. But there's just enough of disappointment in myself. I like to think that I'm a high-performing individual. I've been able to manage so many things. And how did it get to this point that I could not manage the way I eat or the way I live? So there is a sense of regret and shame that I was not able to know about it or knew how to manage it or even avoid it.
Are you ever worried about him?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Every time he has like an allergic reaction with the insulin, it like kind of scares me because he's like focusing on the pain more. He can't sometimes he just stays quiet. He doesn't talk to us. And so I'm just really scared sometimes.
What do you want to use this space for?
Mainly just understand more about him and diabetes, not just diabetes, just him. I don't know how he feels about it, how it really is affecting him inside. When I ask him questions about this and that about it, he just gives me a general answer, scientifically, right? Mm-hmm. But not him personally.
Right. And you want to know how it affects him personally.
Yeah.
She loves scaring me because my wife scares me by saying, you can't have that, right? Or that's not good for you, right? She very much mirrors.
In 2 hours when you're sitting there, an hour and a half, what would you want to feel differently or understand differently? Or what would be different that told you that was a successful conversation?
I would say that that I will be able to connect even deeper with my daughter, because I've really never have directly asked her how she feels about having a father who's diabetic. I believe she wants to learn a little bit more about me and a little bit more about my disease. Definitely.
Key is 2 things. Create the space and ask well-constructed questions. So this is the end space. 2 chairs, simple chairs, close together, low coffee table, a rug, questions right here for each one. Ultimately, what's most important is having the capacity, not necessarily for the answers, but for the ability to sit in the discomfort of the questions.
In what ways do you feel misunderstood and judged by your culture with diabetes?
I think the culture can be judgmental, whether or not you have the disease or not. And if you do have whatever disease that may be, it seems like our culture double down on the judgment,
Yeah.
right? Just as much as that they double down when you didn't become a doctor or a lawyer,
Right. Yeah.
right? And I feel that they are judgmental because they are probably processing or using information that's outdated, that's old,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of that misinformation is hearsay. They hear someone
Right.
and they keep repeating it because the word of mouth is so strong within the culture,
Yeah. Like
right?
the rumors.
Right, exactly. So I think that's the frustrating part is being able to overcome lack of knowledge, overcome preconceived notion about diabetes, helping people to understand is that it's not a great disease, but it can be manageable. Because I think culturally, most people think that it is nothing more than a death sentence, and it doesn't have to be a death sentence,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. When it comes to diabetes, what do you feel is often left unsaid between us and why? Do you feel that I tell you everything about diabetes or what I'm suffering through?
Like scientifically and in general, yeah. But what you're going through, not as much.
So in the future, do you want to know more?
Yeah.
Why?
A lot more. Just to understand more about how you're feeling and what you're going through. So maybe next time if something happens, we can help you out and be much more helpful. When I was younger, I just thought you were like perfectly fine, and I didn't know that there was something going on, like behind you just taking care of me and like all of that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's you were just trying to be a kid, right?
Right. Yeah.
So adult problems didn't come into play, but I think there comes a time where parents or in a relationship, you have to be upfront and honest.
Please tell me what it really feels like to have diabetes.
Part of what being diabetes does is that it gives you a little bit of a mood swing. Not a little bit. It can affect you. It can affect your emotions. So I think early on, I couldn't manage how I feel. Now that I'm going to the doctor and I'm taking my medicine, I feel a lot better, right? So my natural place as a human being is always sense of humor, right? So, but years ago, especially when I wasn't going to the doctor, I wasn't taking medicine, I feel more angry, right? I feel more frustrated. The little things bother me a lot more. And I think that's the part of the disease that some people don't really talk about. It's that sort of mood swing that comes with your sugar being so high or your sugar is creating havoc not only on your organs but also your state of mind, right? So I just want to share that with you so that you have further understanding. There's the visible part, right?
Yeah.
It could be my toes.
Right.
And there's the invisible part, which is really what's going
Like,
on inside, and it can affect you as a person visibly and invisible also. Okay. How do you feel that your father has diabetes?
usually it's kind of neutral because you can handle it well, but on those days where you have like it crashes, you can tell me
My
and
blood sugar
yeah,
crashes.
your blood sugar crashes. Me and mom can like get worried a lot, and we're kind of scared like what's gonna happen, what's going
Sure.
on,
Sure.
right? And all of the times I'm kind of scared because I'm like, because sometimes I sit there and I just don't know what to do because
Sure.
I like freeze there and I'm just watching. But I think as long as you still like handle it, I'll feel a little bit better. But I think I'm getting used to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you know what to do if I have like an episode where I break out or
The
okay,
jelly packs or
yeah,
yeah, the energy packs. Yeah.
the energy pack for it, so I can get an ingestion of sugar, right?
Yes.
And the other thing also is I can take on juice, like orange juice or something like that that has a lot of sugar, because in liquid form, your body absorbs it better.
What do you think I am hesitant to ask you and why?
Maybe you're hesitant is that, am I going to be okay long term? Am I gonna die? Am I gonna, will I get better? I think those are logical questions that it doesn't have to be a 13-year-old that asks that. I think anyone can wonder about it. Um, diabetic diabetes can be a terrible disease, but it is not a disease where there's no hope, right? So with modern medicine, with going to the doctor regularly for checkups and blood tests and taking your medicine and insulin, early on I had doctors that, maybe because they were ill informed, they told me that in no certain terms, you have to stop doing this and that, right? And I think where I really took responsibility for my disease is when I had doctors who spoke to me as a human being and said, if you want a piece of pie, you can have a piece of pie. I had a nurse that actually said that, and I loved her for that. But you have to understand there are consequences of eating a piece of pie, right? If you're not taking your medicine, if you're not exercising. So stick to what we're telling you, but once in a while, you can be a human being. And if you need a slice of pie or a potato, right? Do it. I feel that mom and you really support me on just feeling good as a person. I think that's a key, is that if you feel good about where you are as a person, it helps you to handle other challenges in life. So it helps me to be in a better mindset to manage diabetes, because living for you, living for mom it's definitely not only worth it, but it's a gift. If you could heal one thing in me, what would it be and why?
Uh, That's a good question. I don't know. Never thought of that. Maybe,
Would you heal my diabetes?
yeah, but at the same time now it feels like it's like a part of you, so then I would, yeah, just, yeah.
So I'm a much older dad. Would you have, like, if you can heal and change things, would you want a younger dad?
I think you're good the way you are.
Okay, well, thank you very
Wow.
much for that. Wow. I don't know how I got on my last card.
Because you went first.
Okay. What is your greatest wish for me and why?
Greatest wish. I think to stay healthy and
Okay.
keep like powering through it, Keep powering through. I know you can, but maybe when you're really, really, really old, maybe you might weaken up and like, I can't do it anymore. But I just want you to stay healthy and keep fighting through, pushing through.
Yeah, I think that's a fair request. I have to tell you that this year, for the first time, I felt old. I even told my doctor that the last time I saw her, a few weeks ago. But I'm well aware of that, because not only is your wish or mom's wish, but it's my wish too. So I'm well aware that taking care of my health it should be a priority, really, not only for me, but really for a whole family, that we take care of each other like that. Okay?
Yeah.
Deal.
Why do you love me?
Oh, it's simple. It's amazing. It's that when you have a child, when you come out from the womb, I have no idea who you are, but I instantly love you. And I think that's something that you can look forward to when you're a mom, right? And having to feel that love from the very first moment I see you, and continue to see you as being a great student to me, a great child, first of all, but being a great student, being open-minded, being receptive to me guiding you. That is such a pleasure, because I think in the old age, you can leave people properties, you can leave people money. But for me, there's no greater gift that I can give you other than my knowledge and my wisdom, because I've seen certain things,
Yeah.
I've experienced other things.
Mm-hmm.
And if it helps you to bypass the pain or navigate through life, I think that's something that I feel that I want to accomplish. And I would feel very proud if you see me like that. Yeah?
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
Wait, I don't remember. Okay.
What's the takeaway for you?
I have confirmed with her that I can talk to her, no matter how difficult it is.
I understand how it affected him more, like how it feels for him. So it was something new, and I definitely learned something about that.
It's nice for her to see her quote unquote tough father being genuine about not only being diabetic, but how I see her as my daughter.
I guess he just had a realization that I could understand more than he thought I could. He's gonna feel more comfortable with me, telling me anything up front, in the future.
If I were to have another bad episode, I think she would be less scared. I think she'll have more empathy.
Just when anything happens, we'll be more understanding about it than just being like, oh no, you did this, or that's your fault or something like that. Yeah.
having difficult conversation doesn't have to be difficult. What do you feel is the greatest lesson I taught you? Ooh, this is a good
Wait,
one.
There's a lot.
I need you to just listen and not come to a conclusion or judge me on it. And then afterwards, you ask me any questions that you want. I may have the answers for it. If I don't, why don't we go and look it up together?
Just be curious about anything. Like, it wouldn't hurt to ask questions. So, like, don't be afraid of asking questions. Just keep wandering.
I just think my dad's a really great person, and he's like exposed me to a lot of different stuff that like made me who I am today. I'm really, really happy to have him.
It's a great way to build my relationship with my daughter, bond with her. And if it turns out that we can help other parents or other people that has diabetes to start a dialogue, to share information with their family, as well as what they're going through internally that maybe people don't see. I think the hours are well invested.